What's up, Star Wars fam? It's Brian Castrillo. So I just watched Ahsoka Tano episode 2 titled Toil and Trouble on Disney Plus, and this episode was amazing. But before we get into it, I just want to say there are spoilers coming. If you have not seen the episode, make sure you go watch it. Episode 1 was great. Episode 2 was amazing. And just go, hit that like button. Come on back. Let's talk about it. But yeah, we see Ahsoka right from the beginning. She's visiting Sabine, and my goodness, I was so nervous that first episode because I was like, no way they're going to do Sabine dirty like that, but she's okay. And they're basically recapping, what happened in the previous episode. We see Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati, and they find basically what the opening to find Thrawn, where he went. It kind of looks like a little Stonehenge place, and they actually see Purrgil up above. And this brings me to Grogu, because one of the last times we saw him, he had looked up and there was the Purrgils were flying above. And if you go back to Rebels, that's what Ezra Bridger was seeing. So we're getting close to this. Also, this is why, if you go to my pinned video, I'm talking about Mace Windu. He's still alive, and Ezra Bridger is in that Mace Windu training circle. Go check out my pinned video. But then we see Ahsoka. She goes back to Sabine's place. She's kind of looking around. She sees everything's destroyed. But then one of those HK assassin droids, I believe they're called, comes down. Ahsoka, she's warned by the Lothcat, which that Lothcat is adorable. I absolutely love it. And then, of course, Ahsoka takes off the head of the droid, and she brings it back to Sabine Wren, who's Sabine in the Rebels. She was incredibly intelligent. She could fix pretty much anything, and she's learning where this droid came from, because they don't understand where these assassin droids are, where the Empire is basically not null and void. But she finds it came from Corellia, and Corellia is where Morgan Elsbeth was from. Now Morgan, we see her show up to where Shin Hati and Baylan Skoll were at that sort of Stonehenge looking place, and she opens up this map and she's showing them where exactly they believe Thrawn to be, and they're gonna go try and get her. But a very interesting moment in this, Shin Hati goes to Baylan Skoll, and she says, what happens when we find Thrawn? What happens then? Now, why that's interesting to me, at least, is that when you're talking about a Sith, there can only be two. You have the actual Sith and you have the apprentice. If Thrawn comes, I think she's basically asking, where does she stand in this whole thing? And you could tell there was some level of distrust, because if you look in Star Wars history, it usually doesn't go well for the third tier, but and that's why and I think that's going to play later on in the series. Now, then he talks about, unspeakable power that he's going to bring, and also some people who don't want it are going to get war. So, something big is coming. I do believe we're eventually going to get some movies, at least from this, because this show is amazing. It feels very cinematic, and this deserves to be in the movies. But then we see a TWD family member. Oh my God, and where has he been? And I'm talking none other than Peter Jacobson, who played Rabbi Jacob Kesner, who just kind of disappeared in Fear the Walking Dead. And of course, his character here is Win Weaver. I just think it's interesting that his name is kind of the same in some of those shows, but anyways, in this, his name is Win Weaver. He's a businessman. He's dealing with sort of a shipyard, and he deals with a lot of droids, and then he's talking to Morgan, or he's talking about Morgan with Hera Syndulla, Ahsoka Tano, and Chopper's there. And if you don't know Chopper, he, in my opinion, if you go watch Rebels, which you've already should have if you're watching this, he has as much, if not more, personality than R2-D2. Chopper is fantastic. He's hilarious. But Hera then eventually asks Ahsoka to take on Sabine again as her Padawan. But Ahsoka's saying how, she's not ready and this and that. And then it cuts to Sabine, who's talking to Huang, played by David Tennant. Again, this cast is amazing. And he's basically saying, you never went to go talk to her and ask for her help. And they're both bullheaded. They're both strong-willed women, and it's interesting. They're basically the same. They're butting heads, and that's what I love about this They both got personality, and in my opinion, like I said, she is the best female character in the Star Wars universe. And she's just saying that Ahsoka does not want her, and that's what is just kind of adding more to this. But anyways, now we see Ahsoka, and she is asking about the HK assassin droids to Win Weaver, Peter Jacobson, and he's denying that he knows anything about this, not even for repurposing, which is kind of what Harrison Dula brings up. But then after that whole scene, we see Hera and Chopper chase after a ship that's trying to take off, kind of sneakily with some equipment, and a fight breaks out in there, and they're basically claiming they're the Empire, which is kind of interesting. And so they're chasing after her. Chopper's trying to find a tracking device to put it on, and he's chasing him into the atmosphere before he, runs into hyperspace. But then Ahsoka on the ground, she has to deal with one of those HK assassin droids as well as an Inquisitor. Fantastic fight. And her fighting skills as well makes her one of the better makes her the best female character. Ahsoka makes short work of the robot, but she doesn't get to defeat the Inquisitor, because the Inquisitor throws that weapon, the circle with the two things, and throws it at her, and it enables him or her to get away. Who's picked up by Shin Hati, and it's just a really cool scene because they're running through smoke. You see Ahsoka Tano there at the end and just peering through. It was just fantastic. We do learn that they got that Chopper did get the tracking device on that ship, so that was good news. Excuse me. And then we see Sabine. She puts on the Mandalorian armor, which is really cool. We also see her visit the Muriel, and when I see this Muriel, it makes me sad because I think of Kanan Jarrus again in that whole Mace Windu training circle. Mace Windu lives. Go check out my my pinned video to learn more about that. But now we see Ahsoka with Sabine, and she calls her Padawan. So they've gotten through this ugliness between them. They're heading off to find Thrawn, or at least where that ship went, to figure out their next move. Then we see Morgan Elsbeth, and she's talking with Ahsoka, the Inquisitor, Shin Hati, about what they may have to do as far as Ahsoka. They may have to kill her, and it just a really cool scene. But what did you guys think? Did you enjoy this one? I thought it was another great episode. We're getting closer to finding Thrawn in the Star Wars universe. I cannot wait. Again, Mace Windu lives. Check out my video, and I hope I'll be right. But as always, thank you guys for watching. I love you guys. May the Force be with you.